It starts slowly. You notice your steps getting shorter. Rising from a chair takes more effort. The stairs you once climbed with ease now demand a pause midway. You chalk it up to age, after all you're over 75, and this is just part of getting older, isn't it? But then the frustration grows. You've been eating better, cutting back on fried foods, avoiding sweets. You've added more fruits to your diet, swapped cookies for grapes, and chosen bananas instead of bread. You're doing what every article, every doctor, every nutritionist said was right. So why do your legs feel weaker? Why does your balance seem off, your energy low, and your walks shorter? Here's the truth most people aren't talking about. Some of the fruits you've been relying on, the ones marketed as healthy and natural, may actually be working against your body, not with it. Doctors are beginning to notice a pattern. Seniors who eat certain types of fruit daily are seeing faster declines in mobility. Their joints are stiffer, their legs feel heavier, and their balance worsens, not just from aging, but from internal processes triggered by food. The cause? Sugar. More specifically, natural sugars like fructose, which are abundant in many of the fruits considered safe. After 75, your body becomes more sensitive to sugar, even when it's from fruit. Your insulin response slows down. Your muscles become less efficient at using glucose, and that means more sugar gets stored as fat, or worse, inflames your joints and contributes to muscle fatigue. This isn't just about weight. It's about function. Your legs aren't failing because of your age. They're responding to a daily overload of the wrong kind of fuel. Fruits like bananas, grapes, and pineapple are high in sugar and low in the proteins and fats that aging muscles need. When these fruits take up space on your plate that could have gone to something stabilizing, like eggs, nuts, or lean meat, your body loses out. And the first place it shows is your legs. You feel it when you step out of bed in the morning and your knees groan. You feel it halfway through your daily walk, when your thighs start to burn. And worst of all, you feel it in your confidence, the quiet fear that maybe you're not as steady as you once were. But here's what matters most. It's not too late. Once you identify the fruits that are contributing to this hidden weakness, you can adjust, not give them up entirely, but shift how and when you eat them. Your legs don't need magic. They need support. The kind that starts not with a pill, but with a plate. And maybe the first step to walking stronger is looking at your fruit bowl differently. Bananas are often seen as the perfect snack. They're soft, easy to digest, and rich in potassium, a nutrient known to support muscle function. For many seniors, a banana feels like the right choice, quick, familiar, and light. Maybe you've had one with breakfast for years, or sliced it into oatmeal thinking it's doing you good. But what if that very banana is contributing to the heaviness in your legs? As comforting as they are, bananas carry a high glycemic load, meaning they raise your blood sugar quickly. For someone over 75, that's a problem. The aging body doesn't handle sugar the way it used to. The insulin that once efficiently moved sugar into muscle cells now lags. That sugar hangs in your bloodstream longer, leading to inflammation and fatigue. It's not just about weight gain. It's about what happens inside your muscles after the sugar spike fades. When blood sugar rises fast and then drops, as it does after eating a banana by itself, you may feel a dip in energy. But in seniors, that dip isn't just mental, it's physical. The muscles lose their steady fuel. They become sluggish, unresponsive. And over time, that translates into feeling like your legs are foggy, slow, or heavy. You might notice it when you try to get up from a chair and need to push with your arms. Or when your knees wobble slightly at the top of the stairs. You may even catch yourself avoiding walks you used to enjoy, not because you've lost interest, but because your body feels unreliable. Bananas also lack protein and fat, two nutrients essential for muscle support in aging. When a banana replaces a more balanced breakfast, your muscles miss the opportunity to rebuild. And if that habit repeats daily, the weakness grows silently. This doesn't mean bananas are bad, but they may no longer be the kind of food your legs need on their own, especially not in the morning, when your blood sugar is most sensitive. If you love bananas, pair them with protein, a hard-boiled egg, a spoonful of almond butter, or add a few slices into Greek yogurt. These simple changes slow the sugar absorption, prevent crashes, and feed your muscles instead of draining them. Because that morning banana might feel like comfort, but if your legs are telling you they're tired, weak, or stiff, it might not be comfort they need. They might be asking for fuel that lasts longer, lifts them higher, and helps you walk with the steadiness you once took for granted. Grapes are often seen as the ideal snack, bite-sized, juicy, and naturally sweet. You can eat them one by one, enjoy them during a show, or serve them to guests. They seem harmless, even cleansing. And for seniors trying to avoid processed sugar, grapes feel like a good compromise. But beneath that innocent surface lies a problem few people over 75 expect: inflammation. The kind that swells joints, weakens muscles, and makes walking feel heavier with each passing week. Grapes are extremely high in fructose. While it's a natural sugar, fructose is processed differently from other sugars, primarily by the liver. In small amounts, this isn't an issue. But in aging bodies where liver function is slower and insulin resistance is common, that fructose doesn't get used efficiently. Instead, it contributes to the buildup of fat and inflammatory compounds. For your legs, that means swelling, stiffness, and soreness. You might feel it when you stand up after sitting for a while, a delay before your knees want to bend, or when you wake up and your ankles feel puffy, or that slight pressure in your lower legs during a short walk. These aren't just age pains. They're signs that your body is reacting to something, and grapes may be a part of that reaction. The problem is, grapes are easy to overeat. A few turn into a handful turns into 20. And because they're low in fiber and high in sugar, they flood your bloodstream fast, leaving your muscles overwhelmed and your joints irritated. And unlike many fruits, grapes rarely come with protein or fat. They're usually eaten alone, which means there's nothing to buffer the sugar spike. Just a surge, a crash, and the slow drain of energy from the very parts of your body you depend on most, your legs. Emotionally, grapes also carry a sense of tradition. They're served at holidays. They're in fruit salads. They remind us of family, of rituals, of simplicity. So the thought of removing or reducing them can feel like a loss. But what if that small shift gave you back something greater? What if reducing grapes led to lighter legs, easier movement, and fewer days of swelling? Have grapes ever made you feel swollen or sluggish? Comment below with your experience. Sometimes your body whispers its truths. In the puffiness of your feet, in the ache of your knees, in the hesitation before your next step. And the foods that seem too small to matter most. Because walking, for you, isn't just a way to move. It's a way to stay independent, present, alive. And no fruit, no matter how sweet, should get in the way of that. It's the fruit with a glowing reputation. Pineapple is known for its enzyme bromelain, often praised for reducing inflammation. Doctors recommend it. Articles call it a natural remedy for joint pain. And if you're over 75 and dealing with sore knees, stiff hips, or arthritis, pineapple can seem like a gentle, tasty medicine. But what happens when that same fruit quietly becomes part of the problem? Pineapple is high in sugar, nearly 16 grams per cup, and very low in fiber or fat to slow that sugar down. It hits your bloodstream quickly, spiking insulin and stirring up responses your aging body can't regulate as well as it once did. The result? A blood sugar high followed by a drop, accompanied by inflammation, water retention, and fatigue, especially in the joints. You may not notice it immediately, but patterns emerge. You eat pineapple with dinner and wake up with stiff knees. You enjoy a few slices as an evening treat, and the next morning, walking feels like wading through thick air. The very food you hoped would help is silently making each step harder. How can this be? Because after 75, your joints are more sensitive to sugar, even the natural kind. Pineapple's benefits are real, but they don't cancel out the sugar load it delivers. And in older adults, that load can ignite low-grade inflammation, leading to swelling around the joints and extra pressure on already strained muscles. There's also the question of timing. Many seniors enjoy pineapple in the evening. It's refreshing, sweet, and feels light after a meal. But at night, your metabolism slows. Your body isn't primed to process sugar. It's trying to rest, recover, and repair. Eating pineapple during this time adds to your liver's workload and interrupts your body's ability to repair your muscles and joints. What you feel the next morning, the stiffness, the slowness, the discomfort, may not be age at all. It might be what you ate 12 hours earlier. This doesn't mean pineapple needs to disappear from your life, but it does mean rethinking how and when you enjoy it. Eat it earlier in the day, with protein or healthy fat. Never alone. And if your knees feel worse after eating it regularly, trust that, because the goal isn't to follow the reputation of a food, it's to follow your body's response. Sometimes, what looks like medicine can act like a trigger, not because it's bad, but because it doesn't fit your current biology. And once you recognize that, you can choose differently. You don't have to walk slower, or accept stiffness as inevitable. Sometimes all it takes is adjusting one fruit, and your knees remember what ease feels like. Mango is one of those fruits that feels like a gift, rich in flavor, golden in color, soft and sweet like dessert straight from nature. For many seniors, it brings back warmth, the taste of summer, of childhood, of something joyful and full of life. But for legs that are growing weaker, mango may be quietly working against you. The reason lies in how your body processes sugar, especially the kind found in mango. A single cup of sliced mango has around 23 grams of sugar, mostly fructose. And while that sugar may feel natural, the way it affects the aging body is anything but gentle. After 75, your liver becomes less efficient at processing fructose. Instead of turning it into usable energy, it often converts it into fat, stored deep in the abdomen, near your organs, and yes, inside your muscles. This type of fat accumulation isn't just cosmetic, it directly affects your muscle strength. The condition known as sarcopenia, the natural decline of muscle mass with age, is made worse when the body is flooded with sugar but deprived of protein. And that's the core of the problem with mango. When you reach for mango as a meal replacement, or even as a regular snack, you're often displacing the very nutrients your muscles need to stay alive: protein, essential fats, magnesium. Mango gives you a sweet high, then leaves your muscles undernourished. Over time, that sweet habit becomes a slow drain on your strength. You may not link the dots at first. You eat mango with lunch, then feel unusually tired that afternoon. You notice your balance slipping during a walk, or you find yourself gripping the countertop a little harder when rising from a chair. The signs seem unrelated until they repeat. The emotional part is harder. Mango feels healthy, and it tastes like pleasure. Giving it up feels like punishment. But maybe it's not about giving it up. Maybe it's about reclaiming what you've lost. The steadiness in your legs, the confidence in your steps, the independence of moving freely. That starts with moderation and smarter pairings. If you love mango, don't eat it alone. Add it in small amounts to a meal rich in protein, like grilled chicken or tofu. Never as a dessert. Never at night. And if you're serious about rebuilding leg strength, consider replacing it with fruits lower in sugar, like berries or kiwi, more often than not. Because what you put on your plate is more than food. It's fuel, it's permission, it's power. And your legs, even now, are waiting for the kind of nourishment that helps them hold you up, move you forward, and remind you, you are not done yet. There's something undeniably refreshing about watermelon. On a hot day, it cools the mouth, soothes the stomach, and offers the kind of lightness that feels perfect for someone watching their weight. For seniors over 75, especially those trying to stay hydrated and eat well, watermelon seems like a smart, clean choice. But there's a trap hidden inside all that water, one that might be contributing to leg fatigue, balance issues, and that strange sense of weakness that creeps in by late afternoon. Despite being over 90% water, watermelon has a very high glycemic index. That means it spikes your blood sugar quickly. Unlike berries or apples, which release sugar slowly, watermelon floods your system. And in an older body, where insulin is slower and muscle response is weaker, this sudden sugar rush can cause more harm than good. What follows is a rapid blood sugar crash, and with it, a dip in energy that doesn't just make you sleepy. It makes your legs feel unsteady. Muscles thrive on consistent fuel. When that fuel comes in bursts and crashes, muscles fatigue faster. That's why after eating watermelon, you might feel light in your head, but heavy in your legs. You might get up from your chair and feel momentarily unsure. You might even walk a little slower without knowing why. But it goes deeper. Watermelon is also a natural diuretic. It makes you urinate more, which sounds good, until you lose essential minerals along the way. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium all help regulate muscle function. Without them, your legs may cramp, your balance may falter, and your steps may feel less confident. And there's a timing issue, too. Watermelon is often eaten at night, a sweet, light dessert after dinner. But that's when your metabolism slows and your body is preparing for rest. Sugar eaten at this time isn't used. It's stored, often in the form of fat. And if you're already struggling with insulin resistance, the impact is even greater. Poor overnight recovery, interrupted sleep, and muscles that wake up tired instead of repaired. So how can something so watery feel so heavy? Because hydration without balance is not enough. Your muscles need fuel, not just fluid. They need steady energy, not spikes. And when you give your body watermelon without something to ground it, like protein or healthy fat, it reacts with a softness that isn't refreshing at all. It's draining. That doesn't mean watermelon has to disappear. It means learning how to use it. Eat it earlier in the day. Pair it with something like Greek yogurt, nuts, or seeds. Reduce the portion. Listen to how your legs feel after, not during, the meal. Because the goal isn't to take joy off your plate. It's to put strength back into your steps. And sometimes, even the most harmless habits need revisiting, especially when they make walking feel harder than it needs to be. It seems harmless. After dinner, you want something sweet, but not heavy. So you reach for a piece of fruit, maybe a banana, a few slices of mango, a bowl of watermelon, or even a handful of grapes. You tell yourself, it's just fruit, it's healthy, and it feels like a kind gesture to your body. Light, natural, better than dessert. But for those over 75, this nighttime habit may be quietly sabotaging your legs. Here's what happens when you eat fruit late in the day. Your metabolism naturally slows in the evening. Your body prepares for rest, not digestion. When you eat high-sugar fruit during this time, even if it's natural sugar, it still triggers an insulin response. And that insulin doesn't just help move sugar into your cells. It also signals your body to store fat and stop burning it. The sugar lingers. The fat builds. And recovery, especially muscle recovery, is interrupted. Your legs are supposed to rebuild while you sleep. That's when your muscles repair, your joints rest, and your tissues regain strength. But if you go to bed with a high sugar load in your system, your body spends that night managing blood sugar instead of healing your muscles. The result? You wake up tired. Your legs feel stiff, unstable. Your ankles are slightly swollen. Your steps aren't confident. And you chalk it up to aging, when in fact it may have been the fruit you ate just before sleep. Late-night fruit also disrupts your hormones. Melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep deeply, is sensitive to insulin spikes. Eating sweet fruits in the evening can interfere with melatonin's release, making your sleep lighter and less restorative. You might sleep for hours, but wake feeling like you haven't rested at all. And the toll that takes on your legs, on your ability to move, balance, and support yourself, grows over time. This pattern is especially dangerous because it feels so virtuous. You're not eating cake, you're not grabbing chips, you're eating fruit. But your body, in its current stage of life, needs more than a good choice. It needs a right one. So, what can you do instead? If you truly need something in the evening, choose a food that supports recovery, like a small serving of Greek yogurt, a boiled egg, or a few almonds. These promote muscle repair, stabilize blood sugar, and help you sleep deeper. The key isn't to remove pleasure, it's to remove habits that quietly weaken you. Because every night your body asks for rest and repair, not sugar, not even from fruit. And when you give it what it truly needs, your mornings begin to change. You wake up with stronger steps, steadier legs, and the quiet strength of a body that's finally being heard. You wake up with aching knees. Your ankles feel stiff. It takes a moment before you can stand fully upright. Maybe you stretch. Maybe you tell yourself, it's just part of getting older. But deep down, a question lingers. Why does this keep happening even though I'm eating better? For many seniors, the answer lies in a quiet cycle, one fueled not by fried foods or red meat, but by something far more deceptive, fruit. Specifically, fruits high in sugar, pineapple, grapes, mango, watermelon, even apples, depending on how and when they're eaten. These fruits are often considered anti-inflammatory, especially pineapple with its enzyme bromelain. But what studies now show, and what many doctors are beginning to warn, is that the sugar load in these fruits can actually contribute to chronic low-grade inflammation, especially in people over 75. It's a cruel twist. You eat something thinking it will help your joints, and instead it keeps them swollen, tender, and slow to recover. Here's how the loop works. You eat high-sugar fruit, blood sugar spikes, insulin increases, the excess sugar triggers inflammation in the body's tissues, particularly in the joints and muscles. This inflammation leads to stiffness and pain. To feel better, you try to eat cleaner, often more fruit, and the loop begins again. Your legs pay the price. That heaviness you feel in the afternoon, the soreness in your calves after a short walk, the hesitation before stepping off a curb. These may not be signs of decline. They may be signs of your body reacting to what you've eaten and what it's trying to fight off every single day. And because it's fruit, you're less likely to question it. You wouldn't think that your morning pineapple or evening grapes could be feeding this pain. But pain doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, consistently, through the joints you lean on the most. This doesn't mean all fruit is bad. But if you're dealing with persistent leg pain or swelling, it's time to treat sugar, even natural sugar, with the respect it demands. Choose fruits with lower sugar content, berries, kiwi, avocado. Eat them with fat or protein, never alone. And give your body breaks from high-sugar fruits entirely, especially during flare-ups, because inflammation doesn't just slow your movement, it steals your freedom. And the first step toward ending the loop isn't in a pill bottle. It's on your plate. The relief you've been looking for may not come from adding something new, but from removing the quiet triggers that have kept you stuck in a cycle your body is desperate to break. There's a strange kind of silence in the way the body communicates after 75. It doesn't shout like it once did. It nudges. A little stiffness in the morning, a bit of swelling at night. Steps that used to feel automatic now feel conscious, careful, and yet you're eating healthy. You've followed the rules. More fruit, less fat, lighter meals. So why do your legs feel heavier, not lighter? This is the gap no one prepares you for, the one between what your food says and what your legs feel. Food packaging, health articles, even doctors have long told you that fruit is good, that it's natural, nutritious, safe. And it is, but not always, not in the same way. Not for the same body, because your legs don't respond to food labels. They respond to chemistry, to how your blood sugar fluctuates, to how insulin controls your fat storage, to how your joints react to inflammation. And all of those processes change with age. When you eat a high-sugar fruit like grapes or pineapple, your tongue tastes health, but your muscles receive instability. Your joints receive inflammation. Your circulation slows just slightly. Your balance shifts, imperceptibly at first, but you feel it. You just don't always know how to name it. You start to lean more on furniture. You hesitate before getting up. You grip railings tighter on stairs. Not because you're weak, but because your body is telling you, quietly but clearly, that something isn't right. And that's where the disconnect lives. We're taught to trust nutrition more than sensation, to believe what's good for you over what feels good to you. But after 75, your legs might be the most honest part of your entire body. They carry you. They reflect your stability. They whisper the truth your diet may be covering up. When your food choices are right for your body, your legs let you know. They feel lighter, stronger, more responsive. Movement becomes less of a chore, more of a return to self. But when something's off, even if it comes with a health halo, your legs will reveal it. Through tightness, through fatigue, through hesitation that didn't exist before. That's why it's not enough to eat healthy by the book. You have to eat healthy by feel. Start asking yourself, how do my legs feel an hour after I eat? Is there more swelling, less strength, more stability? Because your legs are not just reacting to age, they're reacting to fuel. And when the fuel matches your current needs, your body doesn't just survive, it remembers how to move again. And movement, for someone your age, isn't just about independence. It's about dignity, confidence, and the quiet, beautiful power of trusting your body again. It's easy to blame age. That's what we've been taught to do. When your knees hurt, when your legs feel tired, when your steps slow down, you assume it's just the price of getting older. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if the problem isn't your body, but what you've been feeding it? For years, you've been told fruit is the safe choice. And in many ways, that was true. But now, at 75 or beyond, the truth has changed. Your body has changed. And the fruits that once nourished you, bananas, grapes, pineapple, watermelon, mango, may now be draining your strength instead of restoring it. This isn't about fear. It's about understanding. When you eat these high-sugar fruits, especially without protein or fat, they flood your bloodstream. Your insulin rises. Your muscles don't get the fuel they need. Your joints swell. Your recovery slows. You don't just feel older, your body moves like it's under stress. And that stress lands in your legs. But here's the part most people don't realize. It can change. Your muscles are not gone. They're just waiting for the right support. When you reduce these fruits, not eliminate them, just reduce, and replace them with options that match your current needs, your legs begin to respond. Your balance returns. Your morning stiffness lessens. You rise from chairs with less effort. And with each step, your body remembers what it means to feel steady again. And the shift doesn't require extreme diets or cutting out everything you love. It starts with questions like, can I eat fruit earlier in the day instead of at night? Can I pair it with protein instead of eating it alone? Can I swap some of the high-sugar fruits for lower-sugar ones like berries, kiwi, or avocado? These small decisions, repeated daily, lead to a body that supports you instead of fighting you. Have you changed your diet and noticed your legs getting stronger or lighter? Share it in the comments. Your story matters. Because someone else might be where you were, frustrated, tired, and blaming age, and your words could open their eyes. Walking isn't just about strength. It's about freedom, pride, connection, and you deserve that. Not just once in a while, but every day. So if your legs have felt heavier, slower, weaker, maybe it's time to stop blaming your years and start looking at your plate. Because when you feed your body what it truly needs at this stage in life, it doesn't just survive. It walks forward with you, steady, proud, and alive.